welcome back to Infamous Indy. I'm your host, That Dead Girl, and if you're new here, basically what I do is I sit down and I share with you all a true crime story from my home state of Indiana. So today I have a bit of a shorter story for you all. It's something that I'd never heard of. I came across this story actually when I was doing research for part 2 of the Burger Chef murders. But anyway, I came across this story and it just kind of resonated with me for whatever reason. So I knew it was perfect and that I had to share it with you all. Which brings me to my next question. Have you ever had a bad day? If you're like me, I'm definitely going to assume that you have. And I'm not just talking like an ordinary bad day where, a few things go awry. I'm talking just everything's going wrong. Nothing's going right. And then that one small little event happens and you just finally snap. I'm talking like Michael Douglas falling down, losing your shit, no fucks given. Well, then you are going to definitely enjoy hearing this story about this guy named Tony Kiritsis. Now, Tony Kiritsis was a resident of Indianapolis, Indiana, who had recently come upon hard times, and he had actually fallen behind on his mortgage payments. In early February of 1977, Tony actually goes to see his mortgage broker, Richard Hall. So he goes into this meeting, hoping to get some type of additional time to make a payment, to which Richard Hall, says absolutely not. We've done all we can to help you. You need to make a payment now. It was then that Tony Kiritsis became absolutely convinced that there was a conspiracy between Richard Hall and his father to steal Tony's property. You see, Tony believed that the value of his property had increased so much so that it could be sold at a much higher profit. And Tony also claimed to have proof of all of this, in writing. And back in the 70s, let me tell you, if you had that shit in writing, that was kind of a big deal. On Tuesday, February 8th, 1977, Tony would actually end up revisiting Richard Hall at his office. Only this time, Tony had a gun. Not only did Tony have a gun, but he would then go on to wire the muzzle of a sawed-off shotgun to the back of Richard Hall's head. Now, this wire was also connected to the trigger, and the other end was connected to Richard's neck. So basically, what this type of thing is called, or it's referred to as the dead man's line. And essentially what that means is Richard and Tony are essentially connected by the shotgun through this wire. Okay, it's wired to both parties. So what that essentially means is that if police try to take out Tony, Richard's gonna die too. If Richard tries to escape, Tony's gonna die, Richard's gonna die. No matter what happens in this situation, rest assured, someone's gonna die. Tony would then go on to call police just to, let them know, hey, I have this guy, he's my hostage, and, if you don't meet my demands, something really bad's gonna happen. And from there, Tony would end up walking Richard all through downtown Indianapolis. I mean, all along the circle, just all through downtown, and eventually they would end up actually at Tony's place of residence. Now, Tony would go on to hold Richard hostage this way for over 63 hours before it would all finally come to an end. I mean, you can just imagine the scene downtown, this guy's holding this guy hostage, they're wired with a shotgun. I mean, there's civilians walking around, there's cops everywhere, they're trying to get close, and every time they try to get close, Tony would shout at them, back off, I'm gonna fucking shoot him. Just complete and utter chaos happening in downtown Indianapolis at this point. And throughout the entire hostage situation, Tony would actually end up placing a bunch of calls to WIBC, which is still, I believe, a local radio station here in Indy. So essentially, he's calling newsman Fred Heckman and just making all of these insane demands, telling his story, saying he's been done wrong and he has proof, and he just wants people to listen to him, basically. And one of Tony's biggest demands throughout this entire hostage situation was that a lawyer needed to bring up papers for Richard Hall to sign. And basically, he just wanted Richard to admit that he had mistreated Tony. He also wanted the document to say that Richard must pay him $5 million in damages. And it would also have to have a promise in which Tony would not be prosecuted or arrested for taking Richard on as a hostage. So somehow, some way, you know, cops play into this crazy ass guy and his crazy ass ploy. They find a lawyer, they get this paper drawn up, you know. Obviously, the guy that's rigged up to the shotgun goes ahead and signs the paper, and eventually Tony would agree to release Richard. Tony then was given a chance to speak in front of the general public. I mean, who's going to stop him? He's literally got a man rigged to a shotgun. He made a speech in front of live TV cameras and basically was quoted as saying that he was a goddamn national hero. After he made a speech, you know, he goes on to release Richard, and then he fires a single gunshot into the air just to let everybody know that he was dead serious and that gun was in fact very loaded. So obviously Tony was immediately arrested, and he was initially charged but found not guilty by reason of insanity. And people who actually knew Tony were just shocked by all of this. Most of them just knew Tony as a very friendly and helpful neighbor and could never imagine, you know, the old man next door freaking out like this and taking another human being hostage. Tony would later go on to issue a public apology, you know, basically claiming that he never intended to hurt anyone, you know, and he was very, very sorry for, you know, scaring the shit out of the entire city. At his trial, he would later go on to be diagnosed as psychotic, suffering from paranoid delusions at all times. Tony would go on to serve his sentence at a mental institution, and he would eventually be released in 1988. And basically, just because the state couldn't prove that he was a danger to society. And that is the story of Tony Kiritsis. And I'm actually very surprised that I'd, you know, never heard of this. There's actually a lot of photos of this incident available online, one of which actually ended up winning a Pulitzer Prize, which I thought was pretty interesting and pretty cool. But, you know, you just gotta watch out. You gotta always be mindful and be kind to people, because you actually have no idea what type of day they may be having, and you could find yourself wired up to the muzzle of a, you know, sawed-off shotgun. Thank you for hanging out with me for this very short video. I found the story to be just crazy and almost a little comical. Just something I thought that you guys would enjoy, because I know I enjoy learning about it. Thank you to all my returning viewers. Also, if you are new here, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Definitely means a lot to me. And as always, if you enjoy what I'm doing here at Infamous Indy, please do feel free to share my content. And as always, stay spooky, keep it creepy, and watch your back, because it's a crazy fucking world out there.